Hello friends, I'm Dr. Soumya Gupta from University College of Medical Sciences, New Delhi. In this video, I want to share my personal study plan which has helped me in my journey from a rank of 2000 in my internship attempt to a rank of 37 in my INI May 2023 in my drop attempt. I will share why I dropped at a rank of 2000 sometime later. So basically in this video I will share how exactly I planned my day and an overview of my overall study plan. I will also try to give a slight modification for people who have started studying their notes for the first time post internship. So let's get started. As you can see, this is an overview of my overall study plan. I have divided it into two. This is for interns and post interns. For interns who have read during internship and are now dropping, and for beginners who are interns, and for post interns who are reading their notes for the first time during their drop attempt. So as you can see in my schedule also, I have allotted like 4 to 4.5 months for my first reading. So assuming that you have started reading your notes from April, your first reading should be completed by mid-July or early August. For beginners, your first reading should be completed by mid-August to early September. Then coming to your second reading, one thing which is also important, you should always club your first reading with custom module of 50 MCQs and GT every 10 days for people who have studied during internship. And for beginners, you have to start giving GT every 10 days after you complete your 10 to 12 subjects in your first reading. In second reading, which is basically your first revision, you have to allot 20 days to doing PYQs and doing retrograde revision. I've explained how to do retrograde revision, what exactly is meant by retrograde revision in my previous video. Retrograde revision is basically making a list of important topics through previous year question and reading them at the end of the day through notes. It consolidates your the covered topics which you have written like in a very like efficient way. Okay, coming to the third reading has to be a little more detailed than we did through PYQs and retrograde revision. It has to have focus on the topics which are highlighted through PYQs. It has to be a 40-day reading which is accommodated for the last 10 days of September and whole of October for people who have studied during internship, and for beginners it can be completed by mid-November. Then you have to go through your bookmarked MCQs. Where do the bookmarked MCQs come from? Bookmarked MCQs are MCQs which you have bookmarked while attempting your GTs, the wrong ones, then attempting your PYQs which you find the difficult ones or what you did wrong while attempting them through your custom module, etc. And you have to go through them. You can allot 10 to 15 days for people who have already studied during internship and 7 to 10 days for beginners. So, then you have to go through your DVTs and BTRs and you have to consolidate them in a way that they can be used for final revision. So basically you have to add things which are missing and you can know what is missing because you have already attempted your previous year question, so you know what is important and what is not. How to consolidate your DVTs and BTs, I will be talking about it separately in another video. Now your final revision is of final reading, which is your third revision, and the final revision is basically of 20 days for both people who have studied during internship and for beginners. So basically it is roughly 1 day for each subject. 1 day for each subject can only be done if you have consolidated your notes before. So basically you should have a consolidated version of your notes. It could be anything. It could be a consolidated DVT, it could be a consolidated BTR. You can consolidate your main notes also by highlighting them and annotating them by writing previous year question and stuff. So basically you should have some source to complete it in 20 days. Then the last 3 to 4 days before the exam, you have to go through your volatile list and you have to give 2-3 GTs to simulate the exam pattern and to eliminate the fear of attempting 200 or 210 questions straight. Now coming to November INI. First of all, there is one very creeping doubt that I would like to eliminate कि INI और नीट पीजी की तैयारी बिल्कुल अलग होती है. ऐसा नहीं होता है. There are few topics which are different, but it is roughly the same. In fact, I never aimed for INI. I always aimed for NEET PG. But if you prepare for an exam अच्छे से, the concepts that you build come handy for another exam also. For those of you who are reading first aid, that is good. It is a very good source. But don't go haywire and lose your hopes if you're not reading first aid for INI. I never used first aid much. If you have consolidated notes and you have consolidated them thoroughly, अच्छे से मेहनत करके, you will crack the exam through that also and you will get a decent rank. Also, the only difference which I would like to highlight here between INI and NEET is, for INI your reading has to be a little quick and it has to be a little more focused, right? So basically for November INI you have to complete your first reading in 3.5 to 4 months, that is by August. Then you have to allot 20 days for your PYQs and retrograde revision, which is the last 10 days of August to plus the first 10 days of September. You have to go on making your volatile list side by side. While doing your first reading also, you should club it with INI CET, TND and your GTs every 10 days. After every TND, you have to give 1 day for its for listening to the discussion and consolidating your notes and making volatile lists side by side. Your third reading, which is your second revision, has to be of 30 days, which is basically 20 days of September plus 10 days of October. During this reading, you have to consolidate your reading with your DBT and BTR, and you have to edit them in a way so that they can be used as your final source for your final reading of 20 days. Right? Your final reading again should be of 20 days, which you have to do through your DBT or your BTR, whatever you have consolidated, which people call it choti copy or 20th notebook, whatever is convenient for you. You have to do your volatile list in the first 3 to 4 days of November before your exam, which is on 5th November, I suppose. Now I'm also giving an example of how I planned my day. This is an example of how I planned my day towards the end of preparation, where I had to complete one subject in a day. This is, for example, this is of OFTHA. I have allotted different time slots for each topic, and I have allotted a complete different time slot for doing custom module of 50 MCQs. MCQs करने से notes पढ़ने से जो mundaneness आती है वो भी eliminate हो जाती है. Plus you get to do MCQs which will keep you in the habit of doing it, which is important for exams. You can plan it similarly for different subjects, and you can plan it similarly for your first and further readings also. Now the 5 do's and don'ts of a study plan, which I have realized through my own journey. ये personalized है. I have realized I have realized them through my own mistakes. So basically, I would advise your schedule should not be a prison, because in that way you start hating it. You saw in my schedule also, I always made out time for birthdays. In fact, you should also make out time for birthdays or outings once in a while. You can keep it once every week in the initial days of your reading to once every 15 days towards the end of your preparation. Watching whole videos for interns and post interns is not advisable. In fact, you can watch rapid revision videos. I would advise reading the notes directly if you understand them, because memory through videos is very short lived. Videos are only for understanding. So if you're understanding the notes by reading them directly, I would advise reading them directly. Again, don't run after completing the entire question bank, and don't fall into the trap of doing MCQs towards the end of your preparation. Right from the starting, you have to make your custom module, you have to attempt them, you have to do TNDs, and also you have to do question banks of only the topics which are not in your notes but are important. And how do you know they are important? Because you have seen it through PYQs, right? Again, do not give up on GTs because your scores are not improving or you're not getting good scores. In fact, it took me also 3 to 4 months to consistently improve my scores in GT. So keep on giving GTs every 10 days and give 1 day after GT to review and analyze it. So friends, I'll be making another video, separate video, in a retrograde timeline from the day of exam, telling how I did my final reading, telling exactly the sources I used and how I planned my day. Please post your queries in the comments if you want to know anything else about my preparation. More than happy to share it. If you liked the video, please subscribe. Thank you.